New Mexico Territory, September 1890. Cole rode into Redstone Junction on a Wednesday and had no intention of staying. The town sat at the base of the canyon country, red rock formations rising behind it like the ruins of something enormous. The kind of landscape that made men feel small in a clarifying way. He tied Shadow at the hotel rail and went inside for a meal and information, in that order. The information arrived before the meal. The woman at the table across the dining room was arguing with a man in a black suit who had the careful grooming of someone who understood that appearance was the first form of pressure. She was keeping her voice low, not from deference, from the restraint of someone who had decided that volume was a concession she wasn't going to make. The man in the suit was not keeping his voice low. "The note matures Friday," the man said. "That's not negotiable, Mrs. Devlin. The mortgage executes Saturday morning."
"The note is fraudulent," she said. "My husband never signed it. Neither document carries his signature."
"Both documents carry his signature. I have witnesses." "Your witnesses work for you," she said. The man in the suit smiled. "Friday," he said. He stood, straightened his coat, and walked out. The woman sat alone. She didn't look devastated. She stared at her untouched coffee as though the argument had happened too many times to surprise her anymore. She picked up the cup, put it down without drinking. Cole's meal arrived. He looked at his plate. He looked at the door the man in the suit had walked out of. He put his fork down. He looked at the woman across the room. She looked back. "I'm not looking for help," she said, before he'd opened his mouth. "I haven't offered any," Cole said. She looked at him for a moment. "Fair enough," she said. Her name was Kara Devlin. The hotel keeper filled in the outline. Thomas Devlin had died 8 months ago, a ranching accident that the county coroner had called an accident, and that half of Redstone Junction privately called something else. He'd left behind a working cattle ranch 12 miles north, 400 acres of good grass with reliable water from a creek that ran year-round off the canyon country above. Out here, the creek mattered more than the acreage. Thomas had put that water to use 30 years earlier, which made his claim older than every ranch Silas Rudd had purchased downstream. Under territorial water law, the first man to put water to beneficial use had the strongest right. Rudd couldn't build what he was building without that creek, and he couldn't get the creek without the Devlin Ranch. He'd apparently arranged to get it through a promissory note for $40,000, the full value of the property, and a mortgage recorded against the deed, both bearing Thomas Devlin's signature, both witnessed by 2 men who now worked for Rudd. "She says Thomas never signed either of them," the hotel keeper said. "What does the county say?" Cole asked. "The county coroner ruled the death an accident," the hotel keeper said. "The coroner owed his appointment to Rudd." He paused. "The county court is expected to rule on the note by end of week." Cole finished his meal. He was still thinking about it when he walked out of the hotel and found 4 horses at the rail that hadn't been there before. The man who'd been talking to Kara Devlin was on his horse. 3 men Cole hadn't seen were with him. The front man stopped in front of Cole. "You were sitting near Mrs. Devlin," he said. "I was eating dinner," Cole said. "She was at the next table." Mr. Rudd noticed. "Mr. Rudd should mind his dining room better," Cole said. The man looked at him, at the poncho, at the Winchester, at the pale blue eyes that were running their quiet count. 4 men, spacing, hands. "This isn't your business," the man said. "Keep riding." Cole looked at him for a moment. "I'll consider it," he said. He went to saddle Shadow. He didn't saddle Shadow. He went to find Kara Devlin. She was at the land records office going through deed filings with the attention of a woman who had been doing this for months. Cole sat down across from her without asking. She looked up, read him the way she'd read him in the dining room, quickly, without rushing to a conclusion. "You didn't leave," she said. "4 men told me to," Cole said. "I find that motivating in the opposite direction." Something shifted in her eyes, not softening, but the adjustment of someone revising an initial assessment. "Kara Devlin," she said. Cole Harlan. I've heard the name. She looked at the papers in front of her. I didn't send for you. Nobody did, Cole said. I was eating dinner. He looked at the documents spread on the table. Tell me about the note and the mortgage. She told him. Thomas had been sick in his last year, not bedridden, but the slow decline of a man whose body was finishing before his mind did. He had signed documents, more than he should have, probably. Silas Rudd had been present in those months, a helpful presence by appearances. A man who came to the ranch, sat with Thomas, helped manage the paperwork that had accumulated. He was patient, Kara said. I understand that now. He was waiting for Thomas to be sick enough that a signature could be questioned later. She looked at the promissory note. Thomas never borrowed money from anyone. 30 years of ranching and no debt. That's not who he was. She paused. And the mortgage? He would never have recorded a mortgage against this land. His father homesteaded in Missouri and lost it to debt. Thomas built everything on cash because of that. Cole looked at the note, then the mortgage copy beside it. Both dated the same day, both witnessed by the same two men. He picked up the mortgage and examined it closely. Who was the county recorder when this was filed? He said. Kara looked at him. Why? Cole pointed to the filing number in the upper right corner of the document. The number sequence here. This filing is numbered after two documents filed the week following Thomas's death. He set it down. The mortgage was recorded after he died. The date on the document and the date it actually entered the county record don't match. Kara stared at the number. She'd been through these documents dozens of times. She hadn't known what a filing number sequence meant. The county recorder, Cole said again. Left office 4 months ago, she said quietly. Rudd's man took over the position. Cole looked at her. We need to go to the ranch, he said. Thomas kept records. I need to see everything. The letter Rudd would use to execute the mortgage was due Friday. That gave Cole 2 days to find something that could stop it. What he didn't know yet was that Thomas Devlin had already found it and left it behind for exactly this moment. The Devlin Ranch sat 12 miles north at the base of the canyon country, where the red rock came down to meet the grassland, and a creek ran cold and clear year-round. Good land. Cole could read 30 years of careful work in the fence lines, the irrigation channels, the positioning of the buildings relative to water and wind. A man who had thought about what he was building and had built it to last. Kara rode beside him on a gray mare. She'd been quiet for most of the 12 miles, not uncomfortable quiet, the quiet of a woman with things to think about. How did Thomas die? Cole asked. Found at the bottom of the canyon draw behind the north pasture, she said. His horse had apparently thrown him. She kept her eyes on the road. Thomas had been riding that draw for 30 years. His horse never threw him. She paused. The inquest took one afternoon. The coroner was from Rudd's County. He ruled it accidental before he'd spoken to a single ranch hand. At the ranch, Kara went directly to Thomas's study. She knew where everything was. She pulled 3 years of correspondence, ledger books, and personal records onto the desk with the efficiency of a woman who had been through this material many times and was going through it again because she hadn't yet found the right thing. Cole sat across from her and started reading. An hour in, he found a letter from Thomas to his lawyer in Tucson, 4 months before his death. I'm writing to inform you that I have refused for the final time a purchase offer from Silas Rudd. I wish this refusal to be on record. I further wish to note that Mr. Rudd has twice suggested that my refusal creates certain risks for my family I would be wise to consider. I am not a man who responds to such suggestions by changing his position. I am, however, a man who believes in documentation. Cole set it on the desk. He knew, Cole said. He knew, she said. He just didn't know how far Rudd would go. Then Kara pulled the stable ledger from the bottom of the pile, a book she'd looked through before, quickly, finding nothing. She opened it to the week Thomas died. She stopped. "Cole," she said. He looked at the page. An entry in a different hand from the others. The morning Thomas died, a man named Cord, one of Rudd's ranch hands, had borrowed a cinch knife from the Devlin stable and returned it after sunset. A cinch knife, used for cutting leather. The kind of cut that could make a saddle's girth strap fail mid-ride on a canyon trail. Kara's hand was flat on the page. She didn't say anything. Cole looked at the entry, at Thomas's letter. At 30 years of careful accounts in careful handwriting, the record of a man who had built something and documented everything because he believed paper lasted. He'd been right about that. Thomas Devlin documented everything. Threats, refusals, the names of men he didn't trust. He wrote a letter to his lawyer 4 months before he died and put it in a file where his wife would find it. He couldn't have known Cole Harlan would be sitting at that desk. But he wrote like someone who believed the right person would eventually read it. That's what good documentation does. It outlasts the man who created it. Subscribe and drop a comment. Where in the world are you watching from right now?
Cole telegraphed Marsh a summary before sunrise. He sent the wire from the Redstone Junction telegraph office at 5 in the morning, while the town was still dark. The promissory note, the mortgage filing number discrepancy, Thomas's letter, the stable ledger entry. The original documents left on the 6 o'clock stage, addressed to Marsh's Santa Fe office. The wire reached Marsh by 7. His response came back by noon. Letter establishes threat and refusal but not falsification directly. Filing number discrepancy is strong but requires expert verification. Territorial Recorder or Surveyor General's office. Challenge filed this morning as precautionary measure. Court may not honor without corroborating evidence. Need a witness or the recorder's original log by Friday morning. Without it, stay may not hold. Cole read it twice. He showed it to Kara. She read it. Then she read it again. Her jaw tightened. He needs a witness, she said, or the recorder's original log. The recorder who left office 4 months ago, Cole said. He moved to Albuquerque, Kara said. He left quietly. I thought it was because Rudd pressured him out. She looked at Cole. What if he left because he knew what Rudd had done with the records and wanted no part of it? Cole looked at the telegram. Can you find him? He said. My cousin lives in Albuquerque, Kara said. He knows everyone. She was already standing. I can send a wire today. Send it now, Cole said. If the recorder kept his own log, which good recorders do, the original entry date for that mortgage will contradict what's on the document. Kara went to send the wire. Cole went back to the ranch to wait for Rudd's next move. He didn't wait long. Rudd came himself, not his 4 men. Rudd, alone, on the porch when Cole rode in that evening, sitting in the chair that had been Thomas Devlin's chair with the ease of a man who had already decided it was his. Kara had not yet returned from town. Cole dismounted at the fence line and walked to the porch. Rudd looked at him, at the poncho, the Winchester, the pale blue eyes. He said nothing for a moment. He had the patience of a man who had been acquiring things for a long time and understood that patience was the most reliable tool in the process. Cole Harlan, he said. Red Rock Crossing, Garnet Ridge, Mineral Creek. He said each name evenly, the names of places Cole had been and problems Cole had made expensive. You have a history of inserting yourself into property disputes. They're hard to walk past, Cole said. I know you telegraphed Marsh this morning, Rudd said. I know what you sent. I have a man at the telegraph office. He paused. The challenge will be filed. The court will review it. And the court will rule in my favor because the note and the mortgage are properly documented. The filing is in order, and territorial courts don't overturn valid instruments on the basis of a widow's grief. Cole looked at him, at the careful suit, at the chair. Get out of that chair, Cole said. Rudd looked at him. That chair belonged to Thomas Devlin, Cole said. A pause. Then Rudd stood, not from compliance, from the calculation that the chair wasn't worth the confrontation. He stepped off the porch. "You want to know why the creek matters?" Rudd said. He said it as a statement, not a question, the voice of a man who had given this speech before and believed it. "There are 12 ranches downstream of this property. Every one of them depends on water that originates from the Devlin Creek rights. A consolidated operation could manage that water efficiently. Irrigation contracts, supply agreements, predictable output." He looked at Cole. "Small individual ranches waste resources. They always have. What I'm building here is inevitable. I'm simply doing it in an organized way." "You murdered Thomas Devlin to do it," Cole said. The words landed, and Rudd said nothing. "The cinch knife," Cole said. "Your man borrowed it the morning Thomas died, returned it after sunset. We have the entry." Rudd looked at him for a long moment. Curious. Something moved behind his eyes, not fear, recalculation. "That's interesting," Rudd said. "But a stable log entry isn't a murder charge." He put on his hat. "Friday is tomorrow. By Saturday morning, this property belongs to me." He walked to his horse. At the fence line, he stopped. "The recorder in Albuquerque," Rudd said, without turning around. "Cautious. I'd be cautious about reaching out to him." He rode. Cole stood on the porch and watched him go. Size. Rudd knew about the Albuquerque wire, too. Kara came back from town at dusk. She'd gotten a response from her cousin in Albuquerque. The former recorder's name was Elias Pratt, and he was found, alive, working at a hardware store. Her cousin had spoken to him directly. Pratt had kept his personal log. He knew exactly when the Devlin mortgage had actually been recorded, and it was not the date on the document. He was willing to testify. "Rudd knows we contacted him," Cole said. Kara's face changed. "How?" "He has someone at the telegraph office," Cole said. "He mentioned Albuquerque tonight." She understood what that meant. Pratt was a witness who could destroy the mortgage. Rudd would know that by now. "We need to get Pratt here before Friday," Cole said. "Or get his sworn affidavit on the stage tonight." "The last stage left an hour ago," Kara said. Cole thought about it. "Your cousin," he said. "Can he get to Pratt tonight and have a sworn statement witnessed and on the first stage tomorrow morning?" Kara was already at the desk, already writing. She wrote the wire standing up, fast, the handwriting of a woman who had spent months waiting for something useful to do and was not wasting the moment. She looked up when she finished. "Someone needs to take this to the telegraph office tonight," she said. "If Rudd's man is watching the wire, he'll see it go out regardless," Cole said. "But seeing it and stopping it are two different problems." He looked at her. "Go now. I'll stay at the ranch." She looked at him. "Cole," she said. His name, for the first time. She said it with the weight of a woman acknowledging that what she was about to do mattered, and that she wasn't doing it alone. "If they come tonight, I'll be here," he said. She held his eyes for a moment. Then she rode. Cole went inside, sat at Thomas Devlin's desk, and wrote the letter he hadn't written yet. The full account for Marsh, the stable ledger entry, Rudd's statement about the creek, the Pratt connection. He wrote it carefully, the way Thomas had written carefully, because paper lasted. He sealed it as shadow shifted in the yard outside. Then he went to the window. 4 horses on the ranch road, not the same 4 from the street. Cole had been expecting those 4. These were different men, the kind Rudd brought when talking was finished. They came without lamps, moving in the dark the way men moved when they'd been told to be quiet about what they were doing. Cole put the sealed letter inside his coat. He moved through the house to the back and came out through the kitchen door, circling wide through the shadow of the barn. He needed to know what they were after before he showed himself. He found out when the first man went directly to the study window. Not the front door, not Cole. The study, the room where the documents were. Rudd had sent men to take the records. Cole stepped out of the barn shadow. "Wrong room," he said. 2 men spun toward his voice. One went for iron.
Cole fired once. The shot hit the man's gun arm and he went down. The second man had his weapon up. Cole was already moving sideways, putting the barn wall between them, and the shot went into the wood where he'd been standing. From the north side of the house, a rifle shot, then another. Cole went still. The two remaining men were backing toward their horses, not in the panicked retreat of men who'd been ambushed, but the specific, controlled retreat of men who had decided the exchange was over. One of them had a hand pressed to his shoulder. Kara's mare was at the fence. She hadn't ridden to town. She'd ridden to the fence line, tied the horse, and come back on foot through the cedar brake. The same way she'd probably walked this land 1,000 times in 30 years of knowing every inch of it. She came out from the north side of the house with the rifle across her body, looking at Cole, not at the retreating men. "I sent the wire from the junction box at the Creek Road," she said. "There's a secondary line that runs to the rail station." She looked at the study window, intact, the documents inside untouched. "Rudd's man at the telegraph office doesn't know about the junction box." Cole looked at her. "You knew about the junction box," he said. "Thomas put it in 3 years ago," she said, "in case the main line went down." Cole looked at the two men still in the yard, one down, holding his arm, one standing with hands raised. "Tell Rudd," Cole said to the standing man. "The documents are already on their way to Santa Fe. There's nothing here left to take." He paused. "And tell him the stable ledger entry has been photographed, and the photograph went on last night's mail." It hadn't, but Rudd didn't know that. The man on the ground got up with help. They rode south. Kara stood beside Cole in the dark yard. "The stable ledger," she said. "Did you actually—" "No," Cole said. She almost smiled. "I want to be clear about what just happened. Cole Harlan fired 1 shot in that yard. Kara Devlin fired 2. The men who came to destroy Thomas Devlin's records left without them, wounded and exposed. That's not a rescue. That's 2 people defending the same thing from different sides of a house, each one covering ground the other couldn't see. Thomas Devlin built this ranch to last. Kara Devlin has been fighting to keep it for 8 months. Cole Harlan rode in on a Wednesday for dinner. 3 people, 1 ranch, 1 set of documents that tell the truth. That's what this story is about." Pratt's affidavit arrived on the Friday morning stage. Kara's cousin had reached him the previous night. Pratt had his personal log. The Devlin mortgage had been physically presented to his office on the 14th of November, 3 weeks after Thomas Devlin's death, not the date on the document. The document date was fraudulent, and Pratt had written it down because he'd known something was wrong and had known he couldn't stop it and had kept the record anyway, the way careful men kept records because they believed in the possibility that someone would eventually need it. Marsh filed the affidavit with the territorial court Friday morning at 9. The court issued a stay on the mortgage execution at 11. The judge, Marsh noted in his telegram, had asked 3 questions about the cinch knife entry. He wanted the original stable ledger. He wanted Cord, Rudd's man, located and deposed. He wanted a territorial marshal to examine the circumstances of Thomas Devlin's death. The stay would hold. Cole read the telegram at the kitchen table. Kara read it over his shoulder. When she finished, she stood straight and looked out the window at the ranch, the creek, the canyon walls, the grass that Thomas had spent 30 years turning into something reliable. She didn't cry. She put both hands flat on the table and breathed once, slowly, the way a person breathed when they'd been holding something for a very long time and had just been told they could put it down. Sighs. "How long does the review take?" she said. "Weeks," Cole said. "Months, maybe. Marsh will keep pushing." He paused. "The murder investigation changes everything. If Cord is found and talks, Rudd's exposure isn't just civil fraud. It's a capital charge." "Serious?" He looked at her. "Men facing capital charges tend to make decisions that simplify the civil matter." Kara turned from the window. "You've been here 3 days," she said. "Yes," he said.
curious. "You don't stay anywhere 3 days." Cole looked at the telegram. At the words, "The stay will hold," that he'd read 3 times. "I stay when it isn't finished," he said. She looked at him directly, the look she'd had since the dining room, the look that had started as assessment and had become something else. "It might not be finished for months," she said. "I know," he said. The space between those 2 statements carried more than either of them said about it. "Dinner," Kara said. "Tonight. Not because you're useful. Because the food is better when there's someone to eat it with." "All right," Cole said. He stayed 3 weeks. The danger was over after the first week. Cord was located in Socorro and brought in by a territorial marshal for questioning. His statement about the cinch knife, obtained under the pressure of a murder investigation he hadn't been prepared for, was detailed enough that Rudd's lawyers stopped returning Marsh's correspondence. Silas Rudd left Redstone Junction on a Thursday, apparently heading toward the Texas line, and did not return. The territorial marshal's office issued a warrant the following Monday. Cole fixed fence lines in the mornings, not because they needed it urgently, because the work organized his thinking and he was there and the ranch needed it. Kara worked alongside him on the days she wasn't riding to town for updates. They worked in the easy quiet of people who had gotten past the stage where silence needed filling.
One evening, she said, "You could stay longer." Cole looked at the canyon walls. "I know," he said. "That's not a yes," she said. "No," he said. "Is it a no?" Cole was quiet for a moment. The creek ran somewhere below them. The last light was going off the red rock above the ranch. "It's a not yet," he said, "which is the most honest thing I can tell you." She absorbed this without flinching. "That's enough," she said. On the morning of the 22nd day, a telegram came from Marsh. The territorial court had ruled. The promissory note and the mortgage had both been found fraudulent. Pratt's log established the filing discrepancy. The handwriting analysis confirmed the signatures were inconsistent with Thomas's documented writing from the same period, and the stable ledger entry had been admitted as evidence in the murder investigation. Both instruments were void. Cole read the telegram at the kitchen table. He looked at Kara across the table. She was looking at him, not at the telegram. "It's done," he said. "The legal part," she said. "Yes," he said. "The legal part." She looked at the window, at the ranch, at everything Thomas had built that had just survived the worst thing that came for it. "The Arizona letter," she said. "The one that had been in his coat since before Redstone Junction." "Yes," he said. She looked back at him. "Come back," she said, without accusation, without weight. The simple statement of a person who meant it. Cole looked at her, at the ranch behind her, at the canyon country above it. "When it matters," he said. She held his eyes. "It already matters," she said. He went to Saddle Shadow. He stood at the fence line for a moment before mounting. The morning was clear and cold the way September mornings were in the canyon country. The air carrying the smell of the creek and the cedar and the particular quality of high desert at the turn of the season. Kara was on the porch. She raised one hand, the small specific gesture of someone not saying goodbye, because goodbye was the wrong word for what this was. Cole raised his hand. He rode south. He was thinking about Arizona. He was thinking about Kara Devlin. He was thinking about the difference between the two, and what that difference meant for a man who had been riding north for 20 years and had just found a reason to consider the direction home. The canyon country fell behind him as he rode. The red rock formations caught the morning light and threw it back at angles that changed as you moved through them. The territory opened ahead, flat and wide and indifferent, the way the territory always was. He put his hand inside his coat and felt the Arizona letter. Still there, still waiting. He rode south and thought about water rights, and about Kara Devlin's hands flat on the kitchen table, and about Thomas Devlin's careful handwriting in ledgers that had outlasted the man who kept them. He thought about the creek running year-round off the canyon walls. about a man who had put water to use 30 years earlier and built everything on top of that single decision. He thought about what it meant to build something that lasted. Shadow moved beneath him at the pace he always kept, steady, reading the ground, the white left foreleg finding its line without announcement. South, for now. But he'd raised his hand at the fence line, and she'd raised hers back. The note was voided. The mortgage was voided. Rudd left town. The ranch is still standing. But that's not the whole story. The whole story is a man who rode into Redstone Junction for dinner and stayed 22 days, who sat at a dead man's desk at midnight, who fixed fence lines he didn't have to fix, and ate dinner he didn't have to eat, and said not yet when no would have been easier and more consistent with 20 years of riding north. Cole Harlan rode south this morning. He's heading to Arizona. There's a water rights letter in his coat. He raised his hand at the fence line. Some things don't need saying. This is Frank Ardell for Silver Dollar. Until next time, ride safe. Silas Rudd was arrested in El Paso 6 weeks later. Cord's deposition had been specific. The murder charge went to trial in the spring of 1891. Rudd received 20 years. Elias Pratt, the former recorder who kept his personal log, testified for 3 hours. The judge described his account as the most complete record of fraudulent filing he had encountered in 12 years on the bench. The Devlin Ranch continued to operate. Kara Devlin ran it the way she had always run it, with the organized attention of a woman who understood what the work required and was willing to do it. Cole Harlan sent a letter from Arizona in October. Factual, brief, describing the water rights situation and how it had resolved. At the bottom, one line. The canyon country above your ranch is the best thing I've seen in years. I'll be back when I can. Kara wrote back in November. She kept his letter. He kept hers. That's episode 48 of Silver Dollar. Kara Devlin, Thomas's desk, a creek that mattered more than the acreage, and a man who rode in for dinner and stayed 22 days. If this one stayed with you, leave a like, drop a comment, and tell me something I genuinely want to know. What country are you watching from right now? Every single comment gets read. Every country that shows up in those comments is someone riding with us, and that means everything to this channel. If you're not subscribed yet, there are 47 more episodes waiting for you right here. Hit that button and don't miss what's coming next for Cole Harlan. Thank you for being here. Seriously. You're the reason Silver Dollar exists. This is Frank Ardell. Until next time, ride safe.